You stop rowing because you can hear something. It is coming from a small island covered in flowers. And it is the most beautiful sound that has ever existed. So you row toward it, of course you do. And as you get close, you see you are not the first person to have this idea. There are men on that beach already, sitting down, facing the same way, perfectly still. They have been sitting there a very long time. Welcome to the Horror Hub. Today's monster, the Sirens. Right now you are picturing a mermaid, long hair, fishtail, draped over a rock. Wrong. The Sirens were birds. A woman's head on the fat, feathered body of a bird with wings and scaly talons. That is how the Greeks drew them for centuries, on pottery, on statues, on gravestones. And the bird part matters more than it sounds. In the ancient world, a bird body meant a soul. The Greeks carved sirens onto tombs, holding instruments, singing. A siren was a creature that sang at funerals. Hold on to that. Their island is real. Tradition puts it at the Ligali Islands off the Amalfi coast of Italy, and here is my favorite detail in this whole story. Ligali means the chickens. At some point, the locals looked at the legendary island of the Sirens and named it after poultry. Everybody used to know exactly what a siren looked like. So what do they actually sing? This is the part everyone leaves out. You assume it is about beauty, a pretty voice luring lonely sailors. It is not. We have the words. Homer wrote them down. They call you by your name, and then they offer you knowledge. They say they know everything the Greeks and the Trojans suffered at Troy, and all things that come to pass upon the fruitful earth. Every answer, anything you have ever wondered about. They are not selling romance. They are selling understanding. Which means the smarter you are, the better the trap works. So what actually happens to you? Nothing grabs you. There are no teeth and no claws anywhere in this story. Here is the warning Odysseus was given. The Sirens sit in a meadow, and around them is a great heap of moldering bones, and on those bones the skin is still shriveling. Sit with that for a second. The skin is still on them. Nothing tore those men apart. Nothing dragged them under. They came ashore and they sat down. And they stayed. Because you are awake the whole time. You are not enchanted into a sleep. You are not paralyzed. You are simply listening. And it is worth it. You get thirsty, and it is still worth it. You get hungry, and it is still worth it. You get weak, and you cannot stand up anymore, and the song is still going, and you still do not want it to stop. And the last thing you ever hear is a funeral song, because that is what sirens sing. The old warning does not say that a man who listens is killed. It says he never goes home. He never sees his wife again. He never sees his children again. Not because something stopped him, because he decided not to leave. One man heard it and lived, and look at what it took. Odysseus softened beeswax and jammed it into the ears of every man on his ship. But he wanted to hear it, so he had them tie him standing against the mast, hand and foot, and he gave one more order. If I beg you to let me go, and I will beg, tie me tighter. He had been warned. He knew about the bones. He gave that order himself in cold blood. And when the singing started, he fought the ropes and screamed at his own crew to cut him loose. They tied him tighter. That is the only reason he lived. Knowing exactly what it was did not help him at all. Only one other crew ever got past. The Argonauts had Orpheus on board, the greatest musician who ever lived, and he simply played louder and better until nobody could hear them. Except one man caught it anyway, went over the side, and swam for the island. There is always one. So why is everyone picturing a mermaid? Blame a book. The Physiologus was a Christian bestiary written in Greek around the 2nd to 4th century, and it described the siren as half woman, half fish. It got copied all across medieval Europe. The fishtail won, and the bird was erased. But the word survived. In French and Spanish and Italian, sirena just means mermaid. Manatees are classified in an order called Sirenia, and the thing bolted to the roof of an ambulance, the noise that goes off when something terrible is coming, we called that a siren too. A monster whose whole power was a sound that meant death, and now it's the sound we use to warn each other that death is on the way. That's it for this episode of the Horror Hub. If this creeped you out even a little, subscribe. We've got a whole lot more monsters to meet. The island is still out there, by the way, quiet, covered in flowers. Most days, there is nothing to hear at all.